Jocelyn McClellan here, and I am so happy that you're here too. There's a really good chance that you're Googling or you're searching on YouTube for how to find the best cream foundation, or how do I wear makeup? Whatever it is that you're searching for, you're currently possibly not happy with what's going on. But why aren't you happy? Is it that your makeup isn't setting well with your skin? Is it that your skin has changed? What is it that's going on in your world so that you are feeling like you need a new makeup routine? I'm here today to give you a cream makeup beginner's tutorial using Seint Beauty, one of my very favorite things that I have been using and educating and studying for over 6 years. So I'm pretty stoked for this. Now, stick around because you're gonna see me give this beginner tutorial. You're gonna find out more about how to fill your palette with the colors that you want within your makeup and how to get that custom color match so that you can have the makeup that you love and go in the direction you want with your makeup. It's not gonna matter how big my palette is or how big somebody else's palette is. It's gonna matter on what you want, and that's what I'm gonna give you. So stick around, check this out. Now, I will be the first one to tell you that I am not your girl who is going to tell you that all you need to do is create the smallest compact to start with your makeup. The coolest thing about Seint Makeup is you get to have the compact of your choice. Your cream makeup palette gets to be how you are. So if you are the type of person who wants to only have a couple things in your makeup palette, because that's how you roll, then your cream makeup palette is going to be filled with just a couple things. But if you're somebody who wants to have a little more intelligent and have more extra eyeshadows or have a more fuller compact, you get to have that too. You can even go beyond that and make yours a little more diverse. However it is that you choose to be, that's how cool that you can have with the double layered compact or a single layered compact, whatever your heart decides. I want you to have the best cream makeup. The best cream makeup for oily skin, the best cream makeup for dry skin. What we're gonna do right now is do a walkthrough because you might be a beginner to Seint Makeup, and this is a Seint Makeup Beauty tutorial for you. So here we go, let's dive into this. So I have other videos that are geared more to, oh, you got your color match, now what? Okay, and then it talks about how you order it and how it comes and how you set up your palette and stuff like that. But that's not this video. I do have one like that though, if you do want to see it, but we are going to dive into application. You can, again, put your palette however you want. I have created my own, I call it a fall eyeshadow palette, although it can be year round. I have my fall eyeshadow palette here that I can actually link for you too, that you can enjoy one as well. And if you already have one of the colors that's in there, you just X-line it and choose not to do that one. But I have my makeup palette here. I have these 3 colors. So based off of the color match that you are going to see right here, here is a picture of yours truly. Okay, in this picture, you're gonna see marked in white is where you color correct, and then marked in black is where you brighten things. So marked in white is where I color correct, marked in black is where I brighten things. So I have a darker color and a lighter color. But then I have a color that I'm using for my face. Now the goal with Seint Makeup is to make it so that you don't have to layer everything time and time again. So I'm gonna give you a couple different tips, but here's a key tip for you too. You can wear your makeup however you choose. I always like to tell people to do half on this side of applying your makeup in one method and half on this side, applying it a little differently. Now, in order for me to keep this up with the theme of this video, for the best cream makeup tutorial for beginners, we are going to break it down to something simple. You can for sure have a more advanced way that you apply your Seint Makeup, but today I'm going to show you just the basics. You also can color correct with a different product that Seint have that's called a demi corrector. And the demi correctors are an actual color that go in with the pigmentation that it's known for. So for example, right about here, I have more of a blue tone. It kind of looks purplish though, but it's got a little bit of blue, and I know that only because I trialed and errored with these colors. So I put this orange color right in here. Then right up above that, it's more purple. So I actually put this yellow color right here and I color correct. Does that sound like a little too much? Good news, this is the beginner video, so you're fine, you're set. So based off of this little diagram right here of how I marked on my face, I'm gonna walk you through where I put things, how I put things, okay? Now this is just my personal preference. Remember, I'm your girl that kind of teaches you to do things how it's best for your skin instead of like an all over. So just know that in this video, you're gonna get, here's the basics. but you can try something else too. I'm gonna walk you through how I match the face really quickly to help you out. Let's mark on my face. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm going to assess if somebody needs color correcting or if they don't. In my opinion, that I would need color correcting. And if you look at my face, you say, you know, where are the darkest points that I need to be marked up for color correcting. And some people don't feel that they really need it. And so that's just where you can decide for yourself if that's something that you want. If it's not something that bothers you, or if it's close enough to your own pigmentation, you're fine. So I'm gonna go in with white, because that is how I mark on everybody's face. I go in with white and I mark right in where they need it. Now, if I just want them to use a little bit, I will be marking it with spots. If I feel that the whole area needs it, I will be marking it in stripes. So just a little tiny bit is needed in these areas, and then it follows through kind of through here. So since my cheeks all have these darker areas, I'll more than likely just kind of use that darker color that goes on through there. Next, I'm going to, let me hit this area up. And then next, I'm going to go in with black where I want to brighten. So I'm going to take the color, so I'm going to come into here to brighten, because we don't want to come up under the eye. So I'm going to come right in here to brighten as well. And I like to brighten over on the outer edges of the eye as well. And I'll take my brush and kind of have them meet together down in here, but I really just hone in on those two places. Then if there's not a lot of wrinkling in this area, then I will brighten, have somebody brighten in that area, and I'll kind of leave a mark. Well, let's make that better. I'll leave a mark right in that area we want to brighten. You can brighten down the nose. That again is not necessary. These are just like key places that you can. And then if you have a lighter neck than the face, then I'm gonna have you also brighten along the jawline to soften it out so the colors don't pull too yellow within here. All right, so now that you see how I mark on the face, just to give you a little bit of insight there, you're gonna see me apply with my brushes. So today I'm going to use the blend brush. Now, one of the brushes that Seint has is called the 3D brush. I actually don't recommend starting out that way. It can be faster, it can, but it's also a way to apply a little too much. So if you wanna do the blend brush and get the 3D brush for something else, you can a little bit later down the road, or you can actually use it for another method, and then getting the blush and bronzer brush, okay? So you can I recommend doing either the blend brush and the blush and bronzer brush, or doing the blend brush with that 3D brush, making sure that you always have something smaller to go in with. First, I'm going to apply what we call a highlight. Your highlight is also what people call a foundation. We call it a highlight because we feel that the whole entire thing is a foundation, because we don't want you to have to apply in layer after layer. Now, depending on if you have a lot of sun damage and what, you might want to put a little bit layer on before, but I'm going to give you one key tip before we apply, and that is your skincare. So beforehand, when you used a liquid foundation or a powder foundation, you could hydrate the heck out of your face and call it a day. But with a cream foundation, it's already holding in that hydration, which means there is no need to apply a lot of hydration before the makeup. So this is what I do. First things first is I take a serum or whatever and I put that on. If it's a slippery serum that never absorbs into your skin, that will be problematic if you are oily skinned. Okay, but I have this serum. This one's from Layers. I can link it below too. I know you're seeing it swapped and backwards, but it works really well with the makeup. And I have normal and oily and dry skin. I have all of the above, and it works really well with it. And then I'm going to hydrate. Now, when I hydrate, I am only hydrating in the areas that I have dry skin. I'm not hydrating on my whole face. So it's always very helpful to hydrate under your eyes, because most of us are always lacking hydration under the eyes. Okay, I'm going with the word. This feels weird doing it with the index finger. That feels really weird. It's like habit to not. So we're just gonna go like that. Okay, so I usually put it there. While this is drying, that's usually when I'm applying to my eyes. Why I apply to my eyes first is because this can be setting, right? You never want to go from hydration right to your foundation. You have to give it time to absorb. If you ever get too much moisturizer or hydrator, whatever you ever want to call it, you are just going to put it on your neck, because our necks are getting older too, and we move them around a lot, and we're just going to use the help. Okay. So we're just gonna let time sit just a bit and then we're gonna dive into that. But if you have oily skin, I love me a good sunscreen that is for oily skin. Did you know that your sunscreen can actually act as a primer? Oh, it sure can, my dear. So sunscreen is always best for every single person across the board, but I have a guide over on my blog, fitmissionmakeup.com/blog, and in that guide, it tells you ones that I have tried and true. I did this for months and I spent hundreds of dollars with trying this out for all of you, so that you could get a sunscreen that was best for your skin type. I would go into detail with sunscreens, but that's for another day too. So I'm using the Paula's Choice. This is not a waterproof sunscreen. This one is for oily skin. And it's okay for my skin if I put this on before that hydration dries, just because this is more of a matte sunscreen. And I want to give myself a little hydration in the mix. All right, we got this blended in. Guess what? It needs time to dry and absorb. So I actually work these in positions, and if you ever go check out my in positions, in time frames, if you ever go check out my lives though over on Facebook, Fit Mission Makeup with Jocelyn McClellan, I believe it is, I don't even know. You will see kind of the order of operations that I do so that I'm not wasting any time as I'm waiting for things to absorb. Again, another huge reason why I apply my eye makeup before I go in and do my face. Let's dive in and do this. This is all set and it feels set, and you'll know when it feels set. Your skin looks a little bit more matte. If you do want it to not be so matte and you want to add a little hydrator there, I can show you that too in just a second. Okay, in my palette though, I do not have the illuminator. That is totally your choice if you want to add that in. I personally, this is matte, this is a gloss, so we call these satin. This is a satin / matte lip and cheek, a blush. This is a semi-gloss lip and cheek blush, but the sky's the limit on what you can do. All right, so I'm gonna go in with my color corrector first. You wanna make sure that with color corrector, you are only going to put it on the darkest point. So see if I go in with this brush and it's a little too thick, I just need to squish it. So here's my palette. Here's me putting it in. Just tapping that in, getting the smallest bit on there. And I'm going to put it right only where it's needed. Little tap tap. Again, it literally looks like there's hardly anything on your brush. I promise you, so this is what it looks like before I go in with a color. And I'm gonna just do a little tappy tappy. And this is what it's looking. So going in with color corrector first, it just really hits those areas that you need. Now, your color corrector could look a tiny bit too dark but when you're doing this, but it's still gonna pan out, okay? The other thing though that you could do is if that color corrector is a tiny bit too dark, you can just do a dab of color corrector, a dab of your main foundation. Did that just get a little too complex? See, I'm telling you, I like to just amp you up with all the tips and tricks of even how to take it to the next level, because you're gonna become a makeup pro yourself. All right, so I'm gonna color correct those areas that you see on this picture right here. So in white, okay? So in white, I went in my nose. I'm going to stipple onto my nose because sweeping can make our nose be not so happy, especially with dry skin. That's for another video too. And on my chin, just in the darkest points. Now I'm going to go in and apply my foundation to those other areas, and this is, notice that it's this type of, okay, and they are stipples. So coming in here, and it's amazing, a little goes a long way. And I'm gonna skip that cheek area where my contour is gonna go, and just kind of roll this out. And I will sweep down here. Sweep across my forehead. Stipple if you have super textured skin. I will also come into here and sweep. Your under eyes, you need to stipple because the under eyes from textured skin, it just gets mad. I'm going to stipple on here where I didn't do the color correction. Okay, and then I actually, where I marked in black along that jawline, I have to go a little bit lighter because my neck is lighter and I can't do too yellow tones. So if you ever feel like your face is too yellow of tones, you can just you can either do a dab of your main foundation and a dab of your brightener, or just go in with your brightener. I'm going with that color, but I'm gonna leave that one till the end. Okay, then I'm gonna come in with my contour. I personally, if you love a bronzer, I actually like to bronzer first, but again, with this cream makeup tutorial for beginners, I need to keep it in that beginner mode. But I promise I got you. On this side, if you're somebody that has melasma, I know this is a little more advanced. Are you ready for this tip? If you have sunspots or melasma right there, you can use your contour as just putting it where it's not and kind of use it as a guide. So I actually skip an area because I have the melasma. So then I'm gonna come along here and I am going to, now that looks like a crap ton, right? Now, one of the biggest tips that I wanna give you is when people do this, they keep this line across their head. We wanna blend that out. So if you put it on with the small end of that brush, you're just going to fan it out and bring it down just a bit. Not a lot, just a bit so that we don't have any solid lines. Okay, I'm gonna go along that jawline. Ooh, better blend that puppy out, huh? And then pull it down. And I'm coming here and pull it down. You can also take, if your neck, like if you're too light in the neck, you can take your bronzer and come down here. Just showing you in that movement, you come down here. I also like doing this with this brush too, so that I apply less of the contour and I don't get too carried away. Okay, next we're gonna move on to blush. So I just have my blush and I'm just gonna pounce it in there a couple times. And when I stipple, I'm gonna lift that blush so I have a nice lifted face instead of going just straight back. And I always start right here and then I work my way back. All right, now here's the fun part. This is like the diving in. So I actually like to take my contour and I like to use my contour as a lip. Now, I'm also not done with the under eyes and all that too. So I'm contouring the lips. I use this for liner because this actually helps accentuate the lips instead of having like a lip liner that's the exact color and then when it wears off, it looks kind of weird. So this is the joys of a cream, all of the things. Then I go in with my lips for this. Now again, you can do it however you want, but this is my beginner video and this is what I pretty much do on the daily. All right, so I'm the type of person that if you go shopping and you go into the try-on rooms, the dressing rooms, if your hair and makeup isn't like, before you go in there, you can't figure out what's going on. So what I do is I assess before I move to brightening under my eyes and stuff. So I look and see how I did. And if you noticed, I didn't fully go under here because I'm gonna teach you a trick with that. So remember earlier in this when I said trial it on one side different than the other side and see what you like best? That's what we're gonna do. Okay, so it's coming to the under eyes and I am going to get a little bit on my brush, just a couple sweeps there, like dabs, not sweeps. And I'm gonna come into the bone more so, right in there. And then I am going to come outside here. So you see that that's where I marked in black on in my graphic. Okay, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna work here on this inner area, not getting it up under the eye. Okay, and then I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna clean up that eyeshadow. Now, in here where I didn't do anything, I don't wanna go too light under there, especially with having more mature skin. So if you feel that you have mature skin and you're using a cream foundation, this is a tip you can do too. So I'm taking a dab of that main foundation and a dab of that brightener. And what that is doing is it's kind of creating my own concoction so I don't go too light under the eye. I got a little bit too much on my brush. A little bit goes a long way. And I'm coming in here and I'm just stippling. So see how I cleaned that up and now I'm just bringing this in and I'm just having all of it, they're just quick stipples married together. and then it kind of messed up the blush a little bit. Now it's too low, but we'll fix that. So again, on the same eye, a dab of one and a dab of the other. We're coming in here and working our way up. And then we're brightening. So just the brightening here and here. Clean that up. Sorry, I'm using your mirror. Okay. Now I'm going to take that blush and push it back up. Wake that puppy back up. And then remember how I didn't do anything along the jawline. So I'm gonna do a dab of my main foundation, a dab of my color corrector again, or sorry, not color corrector, my brightener. This part depends on your face, okay? So this is your own personal preference. If you don't need to do that, just do the main all over. It truly just depends on your face. But what's so cool about this cream foundation is that you really truly can make it your own and customize it. So let me break this down for you too. First of all, I talked about different things you can do. Why did I put that in this cream makeup basic tutorial for you? The reason why is because I want you to know that you can make this your own. Okay, like I could have told you, apply it all over and then apply all this stuff and then apply this, but I didn't, because you're unique and you are you, and I'm doing you a disservice if I don't tell you that you can apply it different ways. Not to mention, how many times have you seen somebody else applying their makeup within Seint Makeup? You're seeing other people do it. My biggest advice to you is have me be your artist, have me be able to dissect your face on how you want to do, and then teach you how you can best take care of your face for what it is. The coolest thing about Seint Makeup is this is a cream foundation, which means it's forgiving, okay? It's forgiving. Is there a little bit of a learning curve? I would be so stupid if I told you there wasn't. There is a little bit of a learning curve because more than likely you haven't used a cream foundation ever, possibly, and you're here searching because you're annoyed with your current makeup, your current situation, your current setup. So I gave you your color corrector, your brightener, and your main. Remember this key tip for you, okay? The main can always be attached to here and here, or here and here, which means, let's say your skin changes colors. You can make it go a little bit darker or a little bit lighter, however it is you want, okay? So when you do that, do not forget that your main foundation, the one that you're using on your face for the most part, it can always help you make a little bit different of a color if you choose. Isn't that so cool? But what I do is when I color match you, I tell you what your main is, because if you chose different colors that were way off, even if you were able to make another color, it still might not be the right color for you, because you're unique. And a lot of times what's really awesome about a cream foundation is we've never had the capabilities to not give us an all over color. What can an all over foundation color do for you? It can make you go flat in other areas, or it can make it not have good coverage on the sunspots or the redness or anything like that. Like I said, this makeup is so good for women over 40. Cream foundations are good for women over 50, women over 60. It's good for teenagers. It's so good for teenagers. And again, cream makeup is the best for oily skin, or cream makeup's amazing for dry skin. However you use it, you just need to prep your skin a little bit differently. So I gave you the overview of building your palette whichever way it suits you. Like I said, if you even want to go smaller than this size, you totally can. You're in control of your makeup. Where you need me is for that custom color match and any guidance along the way, because you've never had your own little makeup artist in your pocket, and I'm here for that for you. I have a lot of years of expertise, and I've studied the heck out of mature skin and problematic skin, and I mean, you name it, I've studied. And when I say studied, is I dive in deep and I get it on faces, and I really truly hone in and see, even down to the wire of what brushes are best for who. So if you've never followed me before, if this is your first time, like and subscribe on this channel. You can also find me on Instagram at FitMission. It's Jocelyn.McClellan. And on Facebook, it's Fit Mission Makeup with Jocelyn or Jocelyn McClellan. I'm brain farting at the moment. But I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you saw that the sky is the limit with this makeup. I'm totally here to help you along the way. but I don't think you're truly gonna need much of my help. I think you're gonna get this. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.